Hey everybody, it's Balthasar with day 1 of my Inner Peace video series. The reason why I chose the topic is that recently I really feel like a shift in my own inner peace, and inner peace for me can also translate into more patience, more fulfillment, less stress, being less irritable. So it's not a specific thing. It's very personal. It has to do with something that you look for that actually has also to do with personal success, but that part of success that is not measurable or visible. And so this introduction for the first part I think is necessary, so when you listen to this, you can first of all tune into a little bit, like if you want to use the ideas that I share, what are you using them for? Because if you have, for example, a very narrow picture of what inner peace means, then maybe that's not so helpful. So go first to find which word or which term describes actually that sort of being more calm, being more fulfilled, being more at ease, all of these work that you actually want to move closer to. The first thing I want to share when we come to inserting a big topic in our life is how do we actually deal with a long-term goal. And while I was making notes and recording a little bit in advance, it always made me smile a little bit, because I'm like, well, most sources that try to motivate you to change something big offer you some sort of quick fix or offer you something that you can hold on to, and you're like, yes, I'm going to do this. And for me, that actually doesn't really work. And so I really want to talk about the how to get closer to a big topic, how to get closer to relate to a long-term process. And the best thing I have to say about it is that the fact that it is a long-term goal, and that it is maybe also a long path to get closer to it, and it's a long path to notice that actually something is changing. There's something good about that, and the good thing about it is that it's very different from all the other processes that we know and all the other processes that we already dealt with. Which means we know big topics. We know buying a house. We know getting married. We know changing career, things like that. These are the big things that our egoic thinking also knows. And maybe when we go to such a big topic and such a big journey, we can leave this way of thinking behind, which is very result oriented and which is very much bound to reaching the result and then looking good. Yeah. So I hope I haven't lost you. Does this make sense so far? Otherwise, the good thing with video is you can go back and watch again. One other thing that I want to add to make it maybe a little less frustrating that I'm talking about it being a big goal is that the continuity or the persistence, I don't know if this is the right word, but it's more important that you keep the connection to that goal somewhere in the background of your life on a hopefully daily basis is more important than what you actually do to get there. So you don't have to do much on a daily basis, but you have to keep one part of you, one part of what drives you with that goal to be able to get closer to it. Yeah. And a third thing I want to say that might make this promise that it's a long process easier is this. 5 years ago, I wrote down on a piece of paper, it's not possible that I'm not getting closer to what I want if I try to get closer to what I want daily. And if you don't like the not in there because you learned that your mind doesn't process it if it's like a negative expression, you can also go and say, it's possible that I'm moving closer to what I'm trying to get closer to. And this is very deep, I think, because it's also very simple, but this is actually the most effective and most profound and most, it's at the basis of all of this, to get some part of you to understand that it's not possible that you're not moving closer to what you desire if you're trying to move closer to that. I hope I was able to trigger some deeper thinking about how to connect with this topic of getting closer to inner peace. And I will try to make a very, very short description below so you can go over the few points that I mentioned easier. And I prepared a topic for tomorrow, but I would very much like you to interact with the content or ask questions about it, or also point out if there was one thing that especially works for you, or that you thought that's ringing true, or that's different, or that's new. So I can actually decide tomorrow if I can include your questions into part 2, or just go with what I prepared, which would be how to be more selective and radical with your input in your daily life. Thank you very much for listening, for watching, for trying to get into the subject of more inner peace. See you tomorrow.